Good evening, everybody. Welcome to APPF1 Tier 3. We are at Zanvoort for round 2 of season 18, I believe. Let's quickly get this up on screen, as LB has been a right numpty and retired from the session. Yes, this is Tier 3 Season 18, and we are here at Zanvoort. Before we get jumping into qualifying, we shall quickly jump into what happened last week, shall we? And just quickly go over the standings. LB pressing retire and not to quit. Well done, LB. That is superb as always from you. I'm sure your girlfriend told you to do that. Right, so enough of those escapades for now. So last week, Runes took the race win and ahead of Speedy B in second. Was Speedy B really second? I honestly cannot tell you. It's been so long ago. It's my old age. Yeah, Speedy B in second. Joey B in third position with James Gardner in fourth. LB Racing came home in fifth and Avenir in sixth. Robsu seventh. Rycon eighth. MS is in ninth. Ralphie in 10th. Stanley was 11th. Ads was 12th. Drogon 13th. Kurt, who is no longer with us, sadly, rest in peace, 14th. And Lil Louis rounded off the points as Wizard, Pepito, Primeval, Sid, and Josh the Guy did not score any points. Just quickly on the constructors, Aston Martin looking like the runaway contenders already, 31 points, a massive 15-point gap over Ferrari in second position. Then we've got the Racing Bulls in third position. Fourth is McLaren, fifth is Williams, sixth is Red Bull Racing, seventh is Mercedes, Haas is in eighth, Alpine in ninth, and Kick Sauber are in 10th. And all the teams have scored a point. So that's a very good start for everybody. Right, let's jump on board to... I don't know why I'm using my steering wheel. Let's quickly fire up the controller. There we go. Apologies about that, as Josh the Guy is the first driver to set a time to cross the line of 109.7891. There we go. I can concentrate now. As we have a McLaren coming around. That's Joe just about to do his fast lap. James Gardner comes up to the line with a 111.174. A little bit just off the pace there. As a Wizard is coming up to the line as well. How will he do? Takes provisional pole, 109.481. As Stanley goes third with a 110.894. Drogon has also jumped up with 111.134. And Runes must have bailed out of that first attempt. As I believe there is a McLaren coming across the line. That isn't Joe, that was Josh coming into the pits. We'll ride on board with Joe. Got a podium in his first race last week in Tier 3. I say first race, his first race without racing line, thanks to LB and Avenir colliding on the last lap. So will Joe's festive Christmas presents continue this week? As Tier jumps up to fourth position with a 110.9. Tier, a regular in Tier 2 and Tier 1, and occasionally an elite. As Joey B goes up to third position, just like last week, deja vu for him. He's near the front, and Joe will be looking to start near the front, especially today. Last week, he felt like it cost him a potential race win, starting a bit further down. So he is up there, putting his name in the gauntlet for a win. peeling potatoes and listening to my soothing voice. Yes, Sumo, I'm going to start AMSR, whatever it is, you know, that lovely soothing noises that everybody seems to get into, as Michael Wicks is our newbie for Tier 3 this week. Racing in the Alpine. We will keep an eye on his progress throughout the 2 sessions to see how he is doing. Raikon and Ralphie are on outlaps, so we will keep an eye on who is potentially going to be next over the line. I don't think there's anybody really pushing on a lap at the moment. No, little Louis. It's all a bit of a lull at the moment. So we've got LB and Primeval, who are currently out of the session. Yes, Wizard has found his feet very early on. Hello, Charlie. Thank you for tuning in. As we will ride on board with Ralphie. We didn't get to see too much of Ralphie last week. And so we will ride on board with him for a qualifying lap around Zanvoort this week, though, as he's got the very infamous 69 number on his Alpine. Yeah, the less said about that, the better, really, as he races through Sector 1. Just this is a key sector to hook up and also try not to lose too much time around this long swooping right-hander. Try not to clip that curb as well, but also clipping the apex and not to hit that curb on the outside, which can just shoot you straight on. You want to avoid that. The traction is very tricky around this section as well. Coming up to the Sector 2 line in a few moments. And how is Ralphie looking? 49.5. I'm not too sure how that is in comparison just yet to his rivals, but so far so good. I haven't seen any truly dramatic moments. Around the last corner, open the DRS, and then it is use whatever ERS you've got left in the bank. Just try and cut that corner straight, and then keep the car as straight as possible up to the start and finish line. It's a very respectable 8th position with a 1:11.053. Raikon is also coming up across the line as well. Raikon jumps up to 8th position. It's a 1:11 flat pretty much. Just out by 2 thousandths, as cars are slowly beginning to peel out for their second runs of the day. Stanley, I think, he's just bailed on a lap there. Robsu is currently down on a lap. I'm not too sure where Robsu is. Speedy B, right. So last week, Speedy B was second. So we'll keep an eye on Speedy B to see if this is the real deal, or whether last week was a one-off. The world famous number 9. Yes, these times are interesting, as Speedy B does a 1:10.3 and puts himself up to 3rd position. So yes, definitely looking like he is the real deal in Tier 3. Josh the Guy is coming out of the pits. He's on an outlap, as we have Stanley and Joe. We'll keep an eye on Joe as well. It's definitely my hot tip for the Tier 3 title. As he's just slightly down on his time at the moment by 14 thousandths of a second. As this is the most technical part of the track now at Zanvoort. You try not to touch the curbs. They are not your friend around here. As Joe stays away from the curbs, obliges to what I say there. As he comes up to the Sector 2 line, how is he looking? He is just still slightly down on his time. His first lap was a very impressive run. And he did Zanvoort not so long ago in another league. He's closely being tailed by another Alpine. As we will jump to someone else in a moment. As Joe comes up to the line, I think he's just going to be a little bit down on his previous time. He is indeed. So we have Avenir here coming up to the start and finish line. 15th for Avenir, so 111.5. Avenir has been finding his feet in Tier 3 in recent times. I don't think he'd be too impressed with being in 15th there. Zanvoort is just one of those tracks where you either turn up or you don't. Unfortunately, it's a mixed bag. As we'll keep an eye on Josh the guy, because he is about to improve potentially. As he comes up to the Sector 2 line now, he's 7 seconds down. That's my game was lying to me. Runes, last week's winner. We'll keep an eye on him because he is flying by the looks of it. No, Wizard's debut was last week, but I don't believe it went as well as this. Honey Badger. As Runes is just slightly down on his time here. He's kept it in 7th gear, shifts down to 6th gear, 5th, 4th, 3rd. Then 3rd gear is probably the right gear to be around there, not to kick up the rears too much. Now you hug the inside of this, don't touch the curb, but you need to stay as close to it as possible. Opens up his DRS and comes up to the Sector 2 line. He is up on his previous best, a little bit wide, missing the apex into the important stadium section there, as the car opens up nicely to come around to the penultimate corner, opens up his DRS and now dumps his ERS, coming around those famous last corner, which is famously banked as well. Crosses the line up to 3rd position. It's a 10.2 and still like 8 thousandths of a second off. 8 tenths off of Wizard. That's still a hell of a lot of time to find. Wizard staying in the pits for the time being. He hasn't shown his face for a second run as of yet. Tia slightly up on his time as well. Tia's racing this week as an experiment. But Tia, I'm not too sure what they've done with Tia's assists or anything, but he crosses the line up to 5th position, and that is what we like to see as well. James Gardner, I believe he said he hasn't raced at this track, or not on this game anyway, at least prior to Tier 3 tonight on F125, but 6th position is very respectable. Joe is in the pits. Robsu, has he just started a lap or has he just improved? We shall see in a moment. No, I think he's just finished a lap because of his ERS. We do have Raikon coming around the last few corners. We'll ride on board with Raikon in the Haas. He was slightly up on his time. Raikon to the line, jumps up to 7th position. Raikon improves as the season goes on, but 7th position so far in round 2 is the best place to be for him, absolutely. We have Ralphie just crossing the line. Looked like he bailed on that last attempt. Is he pushing on this lap? A very tentative start to the lap if that is the case. I don't think he's pushing all out. Apologies if you are, Ralphie. We will ride on board with you for the next few moments as you come up to the Sector 1 line. He's slightly up, so we'll ride on board with Ralphie. Let's see how this lap pans out for him. It's only going to be a slight improvement at the moment. It won't move him up for the order too much, but there is still a bit of time to find that extra few tenths as he comes up to the Sector 2 line. It's going to be a 49.3. He is up on his time ever so slightly. I still think it's just going to be a little bit out to improve, but we shall see. This is the famous track where I said I was improving, and it turned into a meme for APP. As comes to the line, Ralphie just fractionally improves. There is 3 minutes and 8 seconds left of the session as everyone is in the pits now, gearing themselves up for their final runs. As James Gardner up to 6th position. Is Joe on the lap? Joe seems to be out very early, unless he's doing 2 warm-up laps. I think he is doing 2 warm-up laps because he is... No, he isn't. He's actually on the lap by the looks of things. Apologies, Joe. Joe hasn't been able to beat his first time that he set today. Just been slightly down on his second attempt and his third attempt. Will it reap any rewards for the flying Joey B? Comes to the line, just a slight improvement, but he's not improved enough to cause any real cause for concern for the cars in front of him, as everybody now slowly crawling out of the pits for their out laps. I will do my best to try and catch all the laps as they happen, as Ralphie comes into the pits. So we have an Aston Martin who could potentially be first across the line. Not too sure where James Gardner will stand here, but is Avenir on the lap in the Aston Martin? Just a bit slightly down. I think he is, because of his ERS has been eaten away as he runs out coming around the last corner. It's not going to be good enough, and I think that is qualifying done for Avenir in 12th at the moment, provisionally 12th. As MS crosses the line to start his final run, we will keep an eye on the big boys at the front here, as Runes is... I try not to believe those sector times. We'll ride on board with Runes. We have Josh a few moments behind him as Wizard is about to start his flying run. There's a minute left to go. No, Runes has backed out. So will Josh improve with a minute left to go, or just under now? So this will be do or die for Josh. It's purple second sector. Through the stadium section, looks neat. Provisional corner, just chucks the car in. The car duly obliges to his turn as he comes around the last corner. Opens up his DRS, keep the car as straight as possible, burn any ERS left. He does improve. It's a 109.577. Just makes Wizard sweat a little bit, and we will ride on board with Wizard as well for the time being to see if he does improve. That was a monumentous first lap he set. This is actually his second run, to my knowledge. I haven't seen him come out since his first run, so that is one hell of a banker lap, and he is caught a bit of a slide there. I think he would have lost a lot of time with that slide as well. We will see how it fares out for him. If he improves after that, then that's impressive. No, he's almost 2 tenths down. We see he's on a lap. Michael Wicks has gone up to 5th. That's very respectable. Runes is improving though by 2 tenths. This could move him up to 3rd position. Drogon in the Racing Bull up to 3rd position, by the way. That is a hell of a lap for Drogon, and a welcome return to form, I must say. As Runes yes, tier 3 dropping mid-9s. It's questionable, but I mean, as Runes opens the DRS and kind of caught a slide there, and lost an awful lot of time as James Gardner is up to 4th position. That is a great qualifying as well for James Gardner, as I think we've caught everybody. Has Tier been held up there by that Alpine? I'm not too sure what's happened there. Rob Sue coming into the pits. It might not have been an Alpine, it might have been the Racing Bull actually. Apologies. There's last few cars cross the line. And I think that is it for today's qualifying. So the session ends in Zanvoort. No one will move now as we just wait for the last driver to retire from the session, and he has done. So we will quickly bang through the qualifying order. So Wizard is your pole position sitter of emphatic 109.481. And then Josh is in 2nd position on a 109.577. Then in 3rd, we've got Drogon. 4th, James Gardner. 5th is Runes. 6th, it's Michael Wicks on his APP debut. 7th is Speedy B. 8th is Tier, 9th is Raikon, 10th is Joey B, 11th Robsu, 12th Stanley, Avenir is in 13th, Ralphie 14th, MS in 15th, Lil Lou Grill in 16th, LB and Primeval did not set times due to I'm not too sure really what happened to LB. He said he retired and then he's left the session and he's come back. But it's good to have him back. LB probably will attempt to last the first challenge, and oh my days, we have rain. Rain at Zanvoort, so if this track could not get any more technical and tricky, rain will almost definitely spice things up. Let's just quickly load up my stream to read the comments in the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Hello to all 15 viewers. It's nice to have you on board. Please do like, follow, do everything, share, go and tell your kids, your wives, your mum, your dad. Just go tell everyone to watch Tier 3, I guess. Or you could be doing what Sumo's doing and peeling potatoes, listening to my soothing voice. I'll be sure to send Sumo a voice note after this. Please do bang in your predictions in the chat as well. Tier 12 seconds, says Scott. Yeah, Tier does like a good penalty. As I'm sure we are not far away from readying up. And here we go. It's 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway around a very soggy Zanvoort. All the cars slowly getting off the grid. Wizard has a good start, but the Red Bull gets an even better start of Drogon. Everybody flying into the first corner, and Wizard's been swamped by Josh DeGuy. James Gardner and Drogon up to third. As everybody is neatly through, I can't see too many dramas as the Red Bull takes evasive action, and that is Drogon down to 8th position as everybody loses out. Oh, and there's a Ferrari in the back. Oh, my days. I don't know what's happened there. That is Joey B and Speedy B, unfortunately. Yeah, that is not a good start by any means. I think that is a VSC. I'm not sure if that's a full course safety car, but that is absolutely wild what's happened there. Let's just quickly get everything up. I think it's a VSC. I don't think that's a safety car, but some drivers will be cursing their luck already. Joey B and Speedy B, not too sure what happened there, but in these conditions, it's just the luck of the draw, sadly. A few drivers managing to stay out of trouble by the looks of things. It's been a good start for, I'd definitely say, the front. Well, yeah, everyone in the top 10 or 11 has had a good start by looks of things. But Tier does have a missing front left end plate there. That will really hurt him in the rain as well. Flies around the last corner. He's straight on the back of Runes as Tier jumps to the inside. He could have 2 positions here. No, it could just only be the one. He backs out of that move as we'll keep an eye on the battle for first between Wizard and Josh. Josh was in championship contention last season against LB Racing, but he is back this season to prove a point. Wizard is a bit of an unknown contender on how well he will perform in Tier 3 this season. Didn't score any points last week on his debut around Brazil. James Gardner is in a very respectable podium position at the moment. Early days. Runes is in 4th. Tier is in 5th. Robsu is in 6th. MS is in 7th, Ralphie 8th, Drogon 9th, Louis Grill is in 10th, Stanley 11th, Primeval is in 12th, LB Racing 13th, Avenir is in 14th, and then I believe we've had our pit stoppers with Raikon, Michael Wicks, Joey B and Speedy B bringing up the rest of the field a lot further down. My possible race strategy is saying inters all the way through, so it'd be interesting to see whether it stays wet or will it dry up later on. It's yet to be seen. For the time being, there will be no DRS in these conditions as well, so it's all about managing your ERS and trying to get a better drive out of the traction points around this track, which is very few and far between. As James Gardner sets the fastest lap as we stand, Robsu sets the fastest lap. But saying that, that's probably just coming from our virtual safety car. Cars will slowly fall into pace over the next few laps. Half a second is the gap up front, and Josh is actually missing a front left end plate. So he's had a heavy contact at some point. Wizards' wing is all intact, as is James Gardner's, I believe. So we do have a few cars out there. Josh and Tia definitely racing with front wing damage. So be interesting to see how much time they're going to hemorrhage to the rest of the field if they do get overtaken. Because Josh, the guy, will almost certainly be holding up this train of cars now with his front wing damage. But it's all about, can he manage it? Can he manage the damage and keep control of the race? As Wizard will definitely look to undercut him at some point. Or will Josh, when he boxes, will he put on a front wing and surrender the lead and just go out for all race pace? Is to be seen. But the front two are just slowly pulling away from James Gardner. As I said, DRS will not be active whilst the racing conditions are damp as it is at the moment. Wizard just getting ever so closer to the back of that McLaren in front of him. It is a Ferrari versus McLaren battle. We haven't seen these two duel for constructors, especially since 2008, really. My era was definitely 1998, 99 between Ferrari and McLaren. James Gardner is in Williams. I believe they last won the constructors in the mid-90s. That was their last constructors title, but this is APP. I'm sure everybody has got a title on board at some point. Joe sets the fastest lap now. He's unfortunately quite a way down, but safety car later on could bring him back into contention, and I'm sure he'll be definitely doing a rain dance for a safety car. Anything is possible at the moment. We'll keep an eye on last season's champion as well. LB Racing has got Prime Evil in close contention as Prime Evil just clips the grass and sends his V-carb into a half spin as he keeps it under control and just stays in touch with LB Racing. LB Racing is chasing down Louis Grill just in front of him. I might have got that wrong, actually. I think that might have been LB in a half spin for a moment there. It's just probably pushing a lot harder as fastest laps continue to come in. So that could be just the inter tyres just bedding into their comfort zone with tyre wear and just how the rain is at the moment. The rain isn't too heavy, thankfully, so the inters could only probably get faster and faster as the racing line just won't dry it completely, but it'll become very quite suitable for their inters, most definitely. As LB Racing looks like he's losing a lot of time here, stuck behind Lil Louis Grill, but Lil Louis Grill is having a great start to this Zanvoort race after last week, just scoring a single point. But that is how you overtake around Zanvoort. LB Racing just saying no more behind the Sauber and making the move as he sets himself about Stanley just ahead. Stanley just clipping the curb there, losing a lot of time. LB will be on the back of Stanley in no time as the race up the front still stays the same between Josh and Wizard. We got James Gardner 2 seconds behind in third position, but running comfortably. No damage and just going about his own pace as Runes behind in the Aston Martin. I believe also no damage for Runes. Nope, Runes' car is fully intact as well. Robsu as is chasing down in fifth position as well. Robsu, notorious for low wings, as trying to make an overtake as Runes looks round the outside of James Gardner. James Gardner is respectful and leaves him the space on the outside, but manages to get the traction just to keep third position at the moment. Tier did pit, must have been a lap or so ago. He is down in 13th, and I'm sure that was probably to replace his front wing. No, he's back in the pits again. Not too sure what's happened to Tier, unfortunately. Raikon is the first offender of our track limits for today. He has got a 3-second time penalty, I believe that would be. Joey B just quietly going about his pace at the back, and Speedy B is promoted from dead last up to 17th as Tier is replacing his front wing in the pits as he finds himself quite a way down. I say quite a way down, he's quite a way back now. to the leaders as Josh DeGuy is holding off Wizard by roughly a second at the moment. The gap is fluctuating between corners and straights, I'd say, especially this section. Josh will be a lot faster with that front wing damage, but he will pay the price in the technical sector too, as the Ferrari just moves over to the wet side just to keep the tyres cool. Wizard setting the fastest lap as the track is just slowly getting faster and faster, as it will do on the inters. James Gardner once again just happy in third position. Runes is in fourth again, as we do have a 3-car battle for the last podium spot. Williams, Aston Martin and the Red Bull. Drogon is in sixth position at the moment. He's holding on to it very nicely. This is a good return to form for Drogon, as I said in qualifying. It's just been a bit lost in recent times. He definitely had the pace in Tier 2. I believe he broke his thumb in an accident at work, and it just hasn't been the same ever since, as he pulls out a hell of a gap on that straight there to MS. LB Racing will be getting feisty. LB Racing has got past Stanley off camera, as we'll ride on board, because LB Racing once again is slowly picking off cars going through the field. Could this be a wonderful overtake on the outside by LB Racing? His racing experience does show up a hell of a lot in Tier 3. You can see he's very experienced, as he makes another sweet overtake there at the inside of MS. You can tell he is definitely got a racing head on him when it comes to making the right overtakes. Wizard sets the fastest lap again, but still behind Josh. Closed up a few tenths since we last rode on board with them, but LB Racing is the man on the move at the moment. Drogon is also on the move, as they're looking to close down on that podium for the last podium place. Do they have the time to try and catch second or first? I do wonder. If they carry up this sort of pace, it is all good for them. So the gap out the front is just over a second. It's definitely whether Wizard makes mistakes or not, or Josh just has the better second sector over him, is yet to be seen. As closest battles at the moment, we'll just quickly check tyres. I'm quite sure everybody is going to be on intermediates. Yeah. As okay, it's 10 seconds to Raikkonen. It wasn't for track limits, it was for speeding infringement in the pit lane. So Raikkonen, 13th downwards, have all pitted except for Tier, who's pitted twice. I say except for Tier. He did box, but he's been in twice. As the 3-car battle for the podium does continue. Out front, as Runes goes round the outside of James Gardner and does the move ever so well. Just had such better speed around the outside there, which probably the drier racing line just suited the inters just that little bit better around the outside, and he has dispatched James Gardner, and he has released himself. So we will see what pace Runes has now and whether he can trouble the top two as this race slowly unfolds. We are on lap 9 of 36, soon to be lap 10, as I believe Avenir is in the pits. He is pitted for fresh inters. Don't think that was for a wing change, as Tier once again sets the fastest lap, a 21, all the sixes. Yes, yes, Sumo, 6 seconds to the cars in front. And the gap is growing, I hate to say. We'll keep an eye on it. It's 7 seconds now. James Gardner holding off Robsu now, the Robsu rocket ship, as he has been nicknamed in Tier 2 in his recent seasons, especially in his early days. Definitely looking for the cut back there around the last corner, as he dispatches James Gardner down the pit straight. Who's going to brake latest? Robsu brakes latest, and just hugs the inside there. James Gardner, I think, just taps the back of the Red Bull. I don't think that was any damage, but yeah, Robsu just braking and just making the racing line around that first corner. Drogon and LB are in clear air and in no man's land at the moment. These two cars, well, there's quite a few in no man's land. We have a lovely little train of 4 cars coming down the pit straight of Raikkonen, Michael Wicks. Sound like Jonathan Ross just then, I do apologise. Ralphie, Joey B, Speedy B, and Tier is not far off as well. Tier is showing good pace after his front wing change. It could be a race of what if for Tier, as the gap out front just still hovers around half a second. It fluctuates between half a second and a full second as they both stay out, as Wizard moves to the inside again to keep his tyres cool on the wetter line at the moment, as he does set the fastest lap in the process as well. So there's very much good life left in these intermediate tyres in the front runners, as drivers are beginning to chop and change whether they're going to switch between a 1-stop or a 2-stop strategy. Will be key to this race, as it says Josh has set a purple first sector as well. So Josh is really pushing that McLaren as hard as he can out the front, as they are pulling away still from Runes. The gap is now 8.5 seconds to Runes. It is just a terrifying pace by these top two, as Wizard is as close as he has ever been to the back of the McLaren now. Saving up his ERS, Tier goes fastest now in the Kick Sauber, as Wizard will be looking to make a move as soon as he can now. He's been stuck behind the back of this McLaren since lap 1. Wizard did start on pole, but he got robbed into the first corner. There's too much curb there for Wizard. Just a little bit of inexperience there to catch the curb on the inside there at Zanvoort, as the gap slowly ekes out, and Josh the guy can just give a sigh of relief as he sees the Ferrari just a few car lengths behind him, rather than being all over his gearbox. We have Robsu jumping up to 3rd position, but Runes dares to brake later, but Robsu up the inside, and Robsu is definitely found his mojo again in Tier 3. We know he struggled last season. Can't remember what assists he turned off. I think it was traction control. But Ghost has shuffled things around for him, and I think we found a good comfort zone for Robsu now, as he is our next hope to close down on the front of the grid. And you know what? The gap has just slowly come down. It's 8.2 at the moment, but we will keep an eye on that, as you don't want to be doing that too much, Robsu, as he loses a lot of time. Okay, I'll put commentator's curse on it. I'm going to ignore him for the time being. Drogon and LB racing. LB no longer catching the car ahead, I would say, or the cluster of cars ahead. Finds himself in no man's land. Towards the back, we still have this wonderful little choo-choo train of 6 cars racing around. If only this was for the race lead and not 12th position. As Raikkonen with a 10-second penalty. There's no track limit penalties as it stands. Runes comes into the pits on lap 13 of 36. We will quickly just jump ahead to see where Runes comes out and what's going to happen. It's just a quick tyre change. Inters for Inters out of the pits. So in wet conditions, you don't have to run 2 different tyre compounds. So no matter if it dries up, you can just run the 1 tyre compound. Clipping the wall on the way out, he'd have lost a lot of time there. He'd be really annoyed with that mistake, as he comes out behind Stanley in the Mercedes ahead. But we'll see how quickly the fresher tyres do work out, as I'm sure Runes is looking for an undercut on Robsu potentially. The gap is 9 seconds. Unfortunately, it isn't closing as I anticipated. Wizards still in 2nd position, holding on to the back of the McLaren. It does make you wonder if Josh had the front wing fully intact, how fast could he go? I think Avenir is coffee. He is down in 16th, just probably not his favourite track, I'd say. He hasn't done anything too wrong from what I've seen. He's on the back of some quite fast cars as well. Speedy B was on the podium last week. Joey B was on the podium as well last week. They just had an incident at the start of the race, and unfortunately, it's just taken them out of contention, as they're all over the back of Raikkonen now. Ralphie is also keen to make a move. Joe needs to show cutting edge. So Joe won the league race in another league yesterday, and it was Joe that I haven't ever seen before. He was in complete control of the race, had very strong pace throughout the session, and so Joe will be looking to be clinical when the time matters. But we're on lap 14 of 36. Time is slowly running out now as we approach the halfway distance in this race. As it looks like Michael Wicks tagged the back of Joe there, but didn't complete the move, whether that was through his car just hitting Joe too hard or whether he actually backed out of it. Joe will probably be slightly upset with that daring move. So Robsu just now settling down up front. It's a 7-point-second gap. He is pushing hard now, is Robsu. The gap was 9 seconds earlier. I'm going to ignore it because I will jinx it. Josh the Guy and Wizard still out front, battling hard as Josh just catches a bit of curb, but the gap is just sitting just under a second. And is the rain stopping? It's no longer racing as Josh the Guy goes off the track. That is an awful error by the McLaren driver, and Wizard inherits the lead. That is a massive mistake from the McLaren driver. And is that because the track is drying up already? It is yet to be seen on what's going to happen. We will quickly... oh no, and Wizard has spun. It's all happening on this lap, as we will quickly just get the tyre information up, because some cars will be looking to jump onto the dry tyres as well. This is heaven for Robsu. The gap was 9 seconds, a lap ago, and now the gap is down to 4.7 seconds. The track is drying up, and the front two drivers are making mistakes. Wizard was allergic to the lead. He took it off Josh as he ran wide, but as soon as he got into the lead, he made a mistake, and that just goes to show that maybe his racing experience, and he gets 10 seconds for speeding in the pits as well. This race has fallen apart for Wizard on this lap, as he has bottled it. He has bottled it. A bottle off, as Daka says in the chat. It could be tyre temps. Yes, maybe the dry track is really beginning to cook these inter tyres now, as we will ride on board. Wizard has come back out on another set of inters, but I'm quite sure it's stopped raining. Like, why would you pit if it stopped raining? Like, for fresh inters, surely you'd just take the pain and just ride another lap or two, or even be the first to jump on to dry tyres. As James Gardner comes out the pits on hard tyres. Hard tyres, is that the right choice to get him to the end of the race? Most definitely will get him to the end of the race, but will these conditions be suitable for those hard tyres? Yes, you're a wizard. So Josh the Guy will ride on board on what he will do. Possibly too soon to pit for dry tyres, but I think I do see a slightly drier racing line appearing, as the track definitely looks a bit more lively than what it did a lap or two ago for certain, as Joey B and Tia are in the pits, and I believe they are in the party together as well, so they will know when it's time to jump on to drier tyres. Josh the Guy has stayed out, but Robsu is in the pits and he is throwing on hard tyres. It wasn't a slow stop. I think it was just a bit of lag, as Drogon in the pits as well. Wizard with his 10-second penalty. Looks like he's leapfrogged Robsu by a considerable distance. We will ride on board, as it's definitely dry tyres. If Wizard, I don't know actually. Apologies, I don't know what I'm talking about. Wizard obviously boxed for inters again. is Inter's the right thing to do? Runes is on 4-lap Inter tyres, so we are very much on the crossover point at the moment. The Inter tyres probably just at the end of their sell-by date, as Robsu just kicks up the rears and catches a bit of a slide. Very lucky to keep it out of the barrier and have no damage. I think it's just a bit too damp at the moment. And Joey B gets 10 seconds for corner cutting. Now that is not like Joe. Not too sure what happened to Joe, as he probably had a moment going into the stadium section. It definitely looks like it's probably catching a lot of drivers out now. And maybe, just maybe, Wizard pitting for another set of Inters could have been the right thing to do. It's a 20.2. He sets the fastest lap and dispatches LB Racing in the Racing Bull. And now he will have a good... we'll see how powerful those fresh Inters are compared to Josh's 17-lap Inters, as I'm sure Josh will be praying that the track dries out as soon as possible so we can pretty much bank this 16 odd second lead at the moment. But Wizard is not hanging around in that Ferrari. Yeah, Wizard has made a great call, but let's remember he has got a 10-second penalty to serve if he does have to box again. He'd sped coming into the pits, just pushing that little bit extra, really, as we'll keep an eye on the dry runners as well. Hard tyres, I've been informed, are dreadful around Zanvoort, and dry tyres in these damp conditions as well. Just I wouldn't have done it in a million years. Joey B gets another 10-second penalty, I believe. Yeah, 20 seconds for Joe. Oh, he'll be fuming. Absolutely fuming with that. We will keep the tyres on screen at the moment. Josh is in the pits. Josh has gone on to the hard tyres, so Wizard does inherit the lead now, as he looks to press on, and he needs to press on very fast, as the track does dry out. We have yellow flags, and there is a Ferrari of, was it Speedy B? I think he just might have been moving out of the way for the front runners potentially, or was it a mistake? He doesn't have damage. Maybe he was just moving out of the way of the front runners. That's what I would like to believe anyway. LB Racing is up in second position. LB always gets himself there or thereabouts, no matter what. His racing prowess is always there. He is in the right place at the right time, and that's never by luck. He knows what he is doing when it comes to racing for championships. The 2-time Tier 2 champion and the 1-time Tier 3 champion, looking to hammer on and try and secure a second Tier 3 title. Runes is in third position as well, 7.2 seconds to LB in front of him. Josh the guy now on the hard tyres, so we'll see how these hards really press on, as Wizard has an outstanding gap out front. Is that Luxembourg in the title? I'm quite sure that's Netherlands. Please don't make me doubt myself. I will check it out afterwards, and if it is the wrong flag, I do apologise. Joey B speeding in the pits, and his retirement, and that is not like Joe to retire, but I think enough is enough for Joey B. I think he has just had enough for today. It just hasn't panned out well for him. It's Luxembourg. Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, I just saw it and I was like, that's close enough. Whoops. I do apologise to I apologise to Rick, because if Rick says that, he's going to destroy me. And Ghost loves flags as well. Yeah, as a 36-year-old, I should know better. I'll just pin it down to a senior moment. And whilst you all poke fun at me, I will try and concentrate on the race. And I will accept my mistake. And I'll probably take a brutal beating in the chats afterwards. Josh the guy, is he catching up to Stanley? I would say not. No, the gap is still increasing. So Inter tyres are still. I'm just calling it blindness. Maybe I'm just blind as a bat. So as it stands, I think Wizard has actually, although I berated him for pitting for Inters for a second time, but you know what? Masterstroke. I think it has probably just won him this race as well. Just throwing that Ferrari round the track like it's not even wet for him now. He's just in total control of this race. As the back steps out, but he is just under complete control of that Ferrari. LB Racing in second position. Just he is on 20 lap inters. I'd like to think if LB is holding out on 20 lap inters, that dry weather is incoming and he is waiting for the moment to pull the trigger. As Emil LTU says, there's a battle for P9. Yes, Avenir. Just holding off Michael Wicks and James Gardner at the moment, as it's a mixed bag on the grid at the moment for the tyres. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of the 17 drivers still on intermediates. So that is 6 on hards and Tier at the rear on mediums. Joey B is our only retirement at the moment. Joe doesn't take retirements. He doesn't retire for no reason, so I'm sure he has had a bad time out there to retire. Lil Louis Grill last week scored a single point round at Sao Paulo and currently in a very comfortable 7th position. The Kick Sauber will be absolutely thrilled with how this race is going at the moment. Real resilience going on with the Sauber there in a very solid 7th position. Avenir is in 8th, cleared Drogon behind as there are yellow flags as Primeval retires in the pits as an all too common sight for Primeval, unfortunately. Can't remember the last time Primeval actually finished in a very solid position. I'm just usually see them retire in the pits in Tier 3. So the gap out front, we do have a few back markers in the way by the looks of things, as Wizards just still pressing on, as it's just a considerable amount of distance ahead of everyone now. Even if Wizard was to pit, and if Wizard was to pit now for dry tyres, he's got the 10-second buffer. It's 11.3 second buffer at the moment. LB behind, so he's still come out in the lead. Such is his dominance in this race. It's such a dominant performance by the Ferrari out front at the moment. Runes and LB are in second and third. Stanley quite a way back in 4th position in the in the Mercedes, but a very good drive from the Mercedes it is. Stanley as well making his APP debut last week, as a few more yellow flags are out, and I think that is for Lil Louis Grill. Yeah, it's just lit up the rears coming out the pits. Commentator's curse again strikes. I'm sorry, I try not to praise. I feel like I do need to praise everyone, but as well, when I say it, I feel bad. Lil Louis Grill damaging the front wing as well on that Sauber. Front right end plate is missing. But is that the time now for dry tyres? We shall see. Yeah, Tier doing well, but no track limits for Tier. You know what? That's very good for Tier. As Raikkonen gets 10 seconds for speeding in the pits again, as or is that a severe collision with Stanley? I'm not too sure. Yellow flags all around. That must be for a VSC now, as we will watch with anticipation as to what happens now. There are a few cars who have boxed for medium tyres now, so which says to me that the track is all good for dry tyres. Avenir 10 seconds speeding in the pit lane. I am sorry for the Avenir fans, that Avenir's day goes from bad to worse with that 10-second penalty. Michael Wicks has retired. Not too sure as and why that is. Was that in the pits? As a few 10-second penalties for speeding in the pit lanes now appears, but the track, we are now under racing conditions once again. Is Wizard going to go to the end on these Inter tyres? Runes is 20 seconds behind, but LB Racing will be the man to watch, and we will keep an eye on his times compared to Runes ahead, because LB will have a good chance to take second position off of Runes, trying to warm up those medium tyres, swerving down the pitch straight, trying to get as much energy into them as possible to maintain a charge to second position. 12.8 is the gap at the moment, and it's 12.9, so maybe LB was just fed up of those intermediate tyres and the track, as we see, trying to remember what track we raced on recently, where it was just awful. It just stuck in between conditions. I honestly couldn't tell you what race it was now. But we've had a couple where it's been like this. You think it's dry, but it's not. Austria, that is the one. Thank you. Yeah, Austria, the finale of last season, where it was it looked dry, but the moment you put on dry tyres, it was not dry, as slippy as anything. So LB Racing is losing out on time to Runes ahead, as Josh the guy has enough of a buffer behind him to Stanley to stay in fourth position at the moment. I believe the only penalties we've seen so far, I'm not sure if they are track limits or actually just speeding in the pits. Yeah, just speeding in the pit lane penalties at the moment. So nobody has a track limit penalty, which is very impressive, as we're on lap 26 of 36 around Zanvoort. As a Wizard, just the gap increases. It's 21.6 seconds, and he just hammering on. We'll see whether... No, DRS hasn't been activated or turned on by the stewards just yet. So that would say to me that it's still intermediate conditions. And there is our first time penalty of the day. Scott will be rejoicing in the chat as a tier falls foul to the first track limit penalty of the day. But it's not a tier race without a tier penalty, I guess. So congratulations to Tier for his accolade. Robsu in sixth position, once again, just going about his business, Robsu. But Robsu is in a lot better form than last season, definitely, and he is pushing that Red Bull as hard as he can, as he looks to close up the gap to Stanley ahead. And maybe Robsu can sniff fourth position here. Maybe can he snag it with a few laps to go? Those fresh intermediate tyres now against, wow, they're not heavily warm, but those hard tyres will be horrible on such a cold track. You really need a good hot weather circuit for the hard tyres to really kick in, as Sumo leaving the hashtag in the chat as the battle for the podium. Unfortunately, there isn't much of a race at the moment. The closest battle on track, who was that? That was Drogon ploughing into that corner there. We've all done it. If you catch that curb on the penultimate corner, it does just take you straight on into that wall. I've done it myself, and how I didn't DNF, I do not know. But unfortunately, there isn't really any close battles on track at the moment, which is a great shame. The closest gap that I can see is the gap to Robsu and LB, 2.8 seconds. That is the closest gap on the field at the moment. So we will ride on board with Robsu as he hunts down LB Racing. LB is actually saying that he is given up second position, and he is going on to the Inters to have a real push to the end, giving himself the best chance of to get a podium. And he's not a million miles away from Josh, but Josh is driving excellently on the hard tyres, just going about his business. As I'd hate to see the gap to the leader. So Josh is 54 seconds behind Wizard. Yeah. Sorry, Wizard. It's not looking good after this race, I'm afraid. Yeah, but Stan and Runes are doing ever so well. Stanley, in his second APP race, driving superbly. He is missing the front end plate on the Mercedes, but isn't hindering him too much, as LB Racing will be... but he's got so much time ahead of him, MS to Robsu. It's just not going to happen, and I'm quite sure that gap is extending as well. I think dry tyres is just not the way to go, but MS is driving really well. He's just boxed for mediums as well. I'd imagine he's come off Inters, so we'll see if he can hold on to that 7th position. LB Racing did come off the medium tyres back onto the intermediates as he sets himself about as Josh comes into the pits on the hard tyres, maybe just realising what LB has done here, and maybe LB was just closing up a lot of time, and all of a sudden Stanley is on to the podium in the Mercedes. Runes and Stanley and Wizard are the top 3 at the moment, in reverse order that was, as Ralphie is in respectable 7th position in the Alpine at the moment, but he does have a time penalty, and I think that is 10 seconds for speeding in the pits, as I'm sure Tier is the only driver at the moment. We do have a good battle on for 7th place here. Drogon all over the back of the Alpine. Drogon, once again, he's staying in this race, and he's staying in contention for a good haul of points. All over the back of the Alpine, you can see he's opened, he's activated ERS, shall we say, around the outside for Drogon, as Ralphie holds on to the inside line, but Drogon's still on the outside, too wide into the tightest corner on the track, but keeps it well on the outside and gets through on the inside of the bank corner, and Drogon up to 7th position and sets himself about going after... What's the biggest winning margin in APP history? Asked Daka. Not entirely too sure. You'll probably have to ask Rick that. But this is up there. I'm quite sure we've had some aliens in Tier 1 around Monaco. That strikes to me as one of the records that I can think of off the top of my head. But Rick will be the man to ask that, and I think we will get straight on that after this, because this will be up there. Definitely be the biggest winning margin in Tier 3 by some distance. Wizard could literally pull over for a cup of tea as he serves his 10 seconds to get rid of it, and to be honest, the most sensible thing to do it, because if there's a safety car, that could change anything, and anything and everything, as he comes back out on another set of intermediate tyres, as he will look to probably bank the fastest lap in the process as well, just to rub salt into the wounds of the cars behind. Runes is just coming around the last corner. That is just how big his gap was. He did literally stop for a cup of tea almost. I'd probably had a sandwich as well. That's what my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, that what they used to do in pit stops. Stop for a cup of tea and a sandwich, and me being naive as I was, I believed him. Shame on me, really. So the closest battle on the field now is LB Racing is all over the back of Stanley in the Mercedes, as the V-Carb will be looking to make the move as soon as possible. I I think third is the best LB can do today. Yeah, Luca Rapassa in Monaco. I was trying to think of the alien's name. Ghost does come up with the biggest winning margin in APP history, and I believe I was a part of that race as well, as all the moans and groans came in about Luca Rapassa. Took no prisoners that day around Monaco. Whether you love him or hate him, you can't deny it. It was a great performance. There's a and there's a DNF. LB has driven into Stanley, and the safety car is out. Safety car. That was not LB's fault, from what I could see. Stanley has just dropped it, and LB Racing has gone into him. Wow. Stanley with the most unfortunate DNF you will ever see. That is absolutely crazy. And the commiserations to Stanley. He was driving so well. And if he wasn't on for a podium, he was most definitely on for P4. And now, all of a sudden, the race lights up. Wizard is behind the safety car, but he has a few back markers behind him. And all of a sudden, a few of these drivers will be coming into the pits. Will they be smelling blood? As LB goes onto a fresh set of intermediate tyres, as well. Rob Sue is that Rob Sue? Sorry, Rob Sue ran onto a fresh set of intermediate tyres. LB changed his front wing and is on another set of fresh intermediate tyres as Josh Guy inherits fourth position at the moment. And all of a sudden, Wizard's hard work will not look as impressive come the end of the race, but he has been in total control. Speedy B in the pits, and I think he's gambled for a set of soft tyres, and you know what? Why not? It's nice to see someone take the gamble. Raikkonen once again. I think that's the third time he's sped in the pits today, which is absolutely insane. I try to think that lightning doesn't strike twice, but it struck thrice for Raikkonen in the pits. He'll be absolutely devastated again with that, as he'll be on board with Ralphie getting rid of his 10 seconds. You can just see how mad this grid is here as the safety car comes down the line. I'm quite sure Ralphie is a lap down in 8th position, kind of joins the back of the pack. This grid is all over the place. I can't tell you who is where or what or how or anything, but I can tell you this much: we're on lap 31 of 36, as Wizard has 2 lapped cars in front of him to the race win. The race will start at the end of lap 34. I agree with you there, Sumo. The field spread is just absolutely insane in this race. As Speedy B on the soft tyres, will he be the car to watch? As the more it progresses, surely the drier the track will go now. It hasn't rained like since around lap 13, 14. It stopped raining. Yeah, I think Speedy is down. I think everyone like from 8th down is most definitely a lap down, so it'll just be interesting to see Speed's pace come the safety car restart. But we will be waiting a little while for that at the moment. Okay, so Speedy B is on lap 33. Yeah, just trying to work out this. It's because there's Wizards just started lap 34, and we got. Yeah, I can't work out anything right now. Here we go. That you got Avenir in 7th, and he's a lap down. James Gardner in 8th, he's a lap down. Ralphie in 9th, he's a lap down. MS, yeah. Okay. So to get so you've got on the lead lap pretty much from Drogon. So 1st to 6th are on the lead lap, and 7th downwards are a lap down. Make it make sense. That's too much work for me on this Monday evening to try and work out who is where, but I think we've just cracked it. So the safety car will most definitely come in at the end of this lap, and we will get a few laps of racing action, as will be interesting to see whether Wizard will have this race win snatched away from him. Back markers, if you are listening to the stream as we are racing, please do get out of the way of these front runners if possible. But I know you're battling for positions, but as well there are guys rightfully fighting for the win here. There's a bit of tapping going on there as Wizard takes control of the pack now. He controls the pace of the field until the safety car comes in. You don't want to bolt too early because you just don't want to catch the back of that safety car. But I don't think Wizard is hanging around. He's put his foot down already as the back marker's already on the back, but they are actually ghosted. So Runes again is on the move, and he can see Wizard now. The race win is just within touching distance, and he has 2 racing laps to seal the win. But Wizard already pulling out a brilliant gap as that back marker, the Aston Martin teammate, does move out the way. So Robsu and LB will be battling for the podium, but it will be so hard and so tricky to tell who you are actually racing with so many cars ghosted in the field. You'd just be praying it isn't like a connection issue and you accidentally tag one of the others. As LB Racing finds himself 1.2 seconds behind Robsu. Robsu has driven emphatically today. A good return to form for Robsu. How Speedy B did? No, I think Speedy B has actually lost quite a few places on those soft tyres, so dry tyres were not the way to go, as Wizard just pulls out a gap again. Safety car not phasing him one teeny tiny little bit, as Robsu is looking to make a move on Runes as we go into the last lap. Can Robsu hang it around the outside? Runes on the inside, as Robsu tried making a move around the outside, but no doing there, as Robsu will have to try and find another place to execute the overtake. We will ride on board for the fight for second position, as it's looking like the podium is set, but in which order for second and third? Robsu is pushing the back of that Aston Martin round this Zanvoort circuit as impatiently as he can, really. He wants second position as he looks to get 18 points on the board for an impressive drive. Coming round this long left-hander, do not touch the curb, as now he is right on the back of Runes. Will he make a lunge into the stadium section? No. So now it will be a battle of the ERS management to the start and finish line. Robsu just kicking up the rears ever so slightly and just gives Runes a little breakaway, and I think that is the break that Runes needed. But it's a battle of the ERS. I'm sure Runes would have saved enough ERS, but coming to the line, Wizard wins the race. Runes comes home in second and Robsu in third. Josh the guy comes home in fifth. LB Racing comes home in fourth position. Drogon is in sixth position. Avenir came home in seventh position. James Gardner eighth. Ralphie in ninth. MS in 10th. Speedy B in 11th. Lil Louis Grill in 12th. Tier 13th and Raikon 14th. And that was an intense battle right at the very end for second position. Everybody can pat themselves on the back. Well done for a very long technical race that was. The rain came and the rain stayed. It did clear off, but the track stayed in such a condition where it was just wet and horrible, as we said, like Austria at the end of last season. Not too familiar. We haven't been too familiar with those conditions on previous games, but where the rain stops and the track just stays damp, it really makes it challenging for the whole field as to what the right call is. As I hope we do not see these conditions in Tier 2 tomorrow. So we'll quickly just go through the classification for tier 3. Just quickly, the game, obviously, given Wizard the race winner and fastest lap driver of the day, the game gave to LB. Most overtakes LB. Cleanest driver was Runes, but we'll quickly hammer through the order. Wizard was the race winner. Runes in second, Robson in third, LB in fourth, Josh the guy in fifth, Drogon in sixth, Avenir seventh, James Gardner eighth, Ralphie ninth, MS in 10th, Speedy B in 11th, Lil Louis Grew in 12th, Tier was 13th, Rycon 14th, Stanley the first of the DNFs in 15th, then Michael Wicks, Primeval, and Joey B, unfortunately not being able to see the end of the race. Dry race, please, Sumo asks. Yes, you know what? I'm all for wet weather conditions, but please, dry race tomorrow. So it is once again that time of day where I get to choose the tier 3 driver of the day. So many drivers in contention. You had Wizard, who was just in complete control. I'm not going to go for Wizard. I'm sure he'll be happy with the race win as it is anyway. As any other day, I probably would go for Wizard. But my driver of the day, I think I will go for Robsu. Long time coming, on the podium, almost snatching P2 as well on that last lap, but just missed out ever so slightly. So yes, Robsu is my driver of the day as it stands. So yeah, that is another week of Tier 3 done and dusted, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. That was a good turnout for Tier 3 once again. It's nice to see a healthy grid turning out, and I hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary. Just quickly before I shoot off, just point you guys in the direction of what's happening in APP this week. So we have Tier 2 tomorrow night. Look out for Ghost Stream on Twitch. Keep an eye on the commentary stream in the Discord channel. Then Friday, we head to, we're still in Zanvoort in Tier 1 as we look to properly settle in for the second round of APP. Also, I do believe the APPF1 Fantasy Championship does start from tomorrow, so please get your teams submitted before qualifying. I think it starts. I think we go by when qualifying starts tomorrow. Get your teams submitted and take part. Ghost puts a lot of love and dedication into that. So please, reward his efforts by taking part. The more of you that take part, the better. And look forward to that. So yeah, Friday is Tier 1. Sunday is Elite. The best of the very best race around Zanvoort. Really, that's about it for APP. We also have the podcast, which if you all jump into the Discord and tag Ghost to upload the podcast, maybe we will be lucky and wake up to a podcast to listen to tomorrow morning. But yeah, other than that, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with my commentary for tonight. It's been a great pleasure as always, and I look forward to next week's Tier 3 adventure. So thank you very much and goodbye. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on track later this week.